Gruinard Island, Anthrax Island. For decades, Gruinard Island off the northwest coast of Scotland was too dangerous to allow public access. It was known as Anthrax Island, after it was contaminated during World War II by scientists carrying out germ warfare experiments. The secret wartime experiments left the tiny island uninhabitable for decades, until in 1981 a group known as the Dark Harvest Commandos launched a move to focus attention on the deadly contamination. So they searched again and found a bucket of soil near the perimeter. The letter claimed the soil contained Bacillus anthracis, better known as anthrax, a deadly agent of germ warfare. The government scientists quickly worked out it came from 600 miles away on Gruinard Island. The mystery of Anthrax Island is told in a new BBC Scotland documentary. Gruinard had long been uninhabited when World War II led to an influx of soldiers to the Northwest Highlands to carry out secret preparations. So he tasked his team of top scientists with finding a way of harnessing anthrax as a weapon. They had to find a testing site that was remote, uninhabited and isolated but accessible from the mainland. Nobody across the bay in small settlements such as Lade knew what they were doing, but rumors began to spread as sheep, cows and horses began dying strange deaths. The facts about what actually happened remained a source of mystery until the declassification of an extraordinary mod film 50 years later. It showed about 80 sheep being put in exposure crates facing the anthrax cloud. This tiny moment, this puff of powder, is releasing death. The experiment was deemed a success and the scientists returned to Portone Down, but the anthrax remained. In order to keep people on the mainland quiet, the government paid compensation for the dead livestock, blaming the infections on the careless disposal of animals from a Greek ship. In another attempt to rid the island of anthrax spores, Portone Down dispatched 2 men to Gruinard to set fire to the heather. By the evening, locals across the bay could see a huge plume of smoke over the island. Churchill's anthrax bomb was never used. It remained off-limits, and it was not until 24 years after the experiment that the warning signs even mentioned anthrax. Portone Down experts checked the soil, but the anthrax spores were, surprisingly resistant to degradation. The Dark Harvest Commandos wanted action. 4 days after bringing the bucket of soil to Portone Down, they struck again, this time targeting the Conservative Party conference in Blackpool. A tin box believed to contain soil from the Anthrax Island was left at Blackpool Tower. Unlike the first sample, this one turned out not to contain anthrax, but the authorities were on high alert. "I felt there was maybe more known in the community than was being said," he tells the documentary. On 7 December 1981, the Dark Harvest pinned a final letter to the door of the UK government's Scottish office HQ in Edinburgh. Instead of threats, the letter declared that the aims of their protest had been met and there would be no further action, for now. As mysteriously as they appeared, the Dark Harvest Commandos disappeared. If their aim was to highlight the continued contamination of the island, they had succeeded. In 1986, Gruinard was again a hive of activity as teams of scientists, vaccinated against anthrax and dressed in protective clothing, prepared to return the island to its natural state. They sprayed the soil with seawater and formaldehyde and it was again tested at Portone Down. Finally, on 24 April 1990, the mod declared Gruinard anthrax-free.